In this video, we're going to be looking at the first company task force from the brand new Space Marine Codex for Warhammer 40,000. We'll be looking at its detachment rule, enhancements, stratagems, our top picks for units in this detachment. And if you stick around to the very end, we have an army list all set up around this detachment. I'm Jake and this is Michael. Michael, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Excited to dive in.
Fantastic. So let's do that. Let's dive in. What is the detachment rule for the first company task force?
Extremist level threat.
Okay, that's quite a high level of threat there.
It is a high level of threat. Yeah. So once per game, when you pick your oath target, you can declare that you want to reroll all the wound rolls that turn as well.
Okay, so for long time...
Until the end of the next come up phase.
Okay, cool. So for long time Space Marine fans, this will be very reminiscent of the old Oath of Moment. So for the old reroll hits and wounds, you now get this once per game with this detachment. That's super good. And that's all Adeptus Astartes models get that as well.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so no matter what you take in the detachment, you're all going to get that reroll wounds for that turn.
Yeah, because as it will become apparent as we go through this, this is a very sort of veterans-themed detachment.
It is, yes.
Which is what the first company is. Awesome, Michael. So that is the detachment rule, pretty plain and simple. How do you rate this? How do you rate this? It seems quite good.
So this is quite interesting. This kind of gives you that one turn of you absolutely destroy a key asset in your opponent's army and try and use that to set the game in your favour.
Like it.
This army is all about the 1-2, like kind of like the sucker punch.
Yeah.
So you have this one turn, and you'll see this in the enhancements. You'll have one turn where your opponent hits you. You just take the punch, and then you come back and you end the game by hitting them so hard as a counter. That's kind of how this attachment feels for me.
I like it. It's very you've set this at very high praise, Michael. So let's see if it does live up to that. So let's have a look at the enhancements.
Okay.
But before we continue, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, The Outpost. If you're looking for great deals on your miniatures, paints and gaming supplies, we've got you covered. Their wide variety of exceptional service makes them the go-to destination for all hobby needs. So don't wait, check out The Outpost today. Link in the description below.
The first enhancement is the Imperium's Sword. This can go on any Adeptus Astartes unit. And what this does is it gives the bearer +1 attack. And then once per game, you can give the unit +1 attack.
Okay.
This is done, you choose this at the start of a phase, and you just like, cool, rest of the unit +1 attack as well.
Okay. Bit of a theme we're going to be noticing here of, like you alluded to, of, this sort of one turn type of thing. Overall, as an enhancement, that seems quite good though. Yeah. What are we sort of looking at that for? Our sort of captains? Really?
So this one's good for our captains. So if we've got a normal captain, we have the ability to honour the chapter, like one of their abilities where they get +3 attacks.
Oh, nice.
So now their +1 attack base, usually they'll have 6 with like a mastercrafted weapon.
Yeah.
That puts them at 7, just because they have the enhancement.
Yeah.
Once per game, 10 because of their ability, and then once per game 11 if we trigger this on their unit as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good.
11, and they get dev wounds as well that turn too. So that's pretty strong. But the real strength of this is that you can put it on a character that can be attached to an epic hero.
Yes.
So a lieutenant or an ancient of some form, and then you can buff that epic hero to the 9s.
Yeah.
Very strong on a Blade Guard ancient.
Okay.
Because a Blade Guard ancient has exactly the same ability that essentially once per game can give +1 attack to their unit.
Okay, so that could mean +2 attacks.
+2 attacks to the unit.
Yeah. So overall, we're looking at this pretty good on, like you said, your epic heroes. So maybe like your Belials.
Belial, potentially, yeah, Belial. You've got
Azrael.
Azrael, very good on Azrael because Azrael gives the unit sustained hits 1.
Yeah, so he's.
So now you're getting a huge amount out of this because you've got more attacks, more likely to roll those 6s. Very good on Pedro Cantor.
Yes.
In fact, it's very good on all of them.
Yeah.
It's just good on any epic hero.
No, I like that.
Yeah, it's very strong on Calgar actually because he's got the Victrix Guard.
Oh, so that would buff them
It would
as
buff
well.
them too. So they both have +2 attacks each if you took it on a Blade Guard Ancient.
Yeah.
So you'd be on 7 attacks per Victrix Guard.
Yeah. That is pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You could put it on a jump pack unit as well. Just get a bit more punch out of one of those units.
Yeah.
Vanguard veterans, for example, which are also implicated in the detachment.
Yeah, nice. Love that. So next enhancement, Fear Made Manifest. What's this do?
Right, this one's a bit more complicated.
Okay.
So
I'm strapped in.
What this means is any time an enemy unit that isn't a monster or vehicle fails a battle shock test within 6 inches of the bearer, then one model from that unit chosen by the controlling player is destroyed.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Right. This does work on infantry of any kind.
Yes.
So if you had a lone operative infantry character and you forced a battle shock test on them using, I don't know, Infernus, Whirlwinds, your assault Terminators, and they failed it, they would be instantly removed.
That would be quite fun.
They're on their own.
Yeah.
Once per game, though, after a unit fails the test, you can choose to trigger the ability and D3 models are lost instead.
Just
for that one unit.
Okay, but still very strong.
Yeah, well, imagine if a Custodes player fails this on one of their units, any of their units,
That
really.
could kill a whole unit.
Kill a whole unit.
Yeah, that's
just
very
if you roll the
good.
big 3. So this is very interesting. It's quite gimmicky.
Yeah.
And because it's all around one character, it can be quite difficult to pull off. But you could very much lean into this if you wanted to.
Yeah, I really like this. I think it's a really good enhancement.
Yeah.
Again, a bit more techy, like you said.
Yes.
But if you know, as you'll sort of see with, a lot of the Marine lists, Whirlwinds, like you said, Assault Terminators, Infernus Marines, plenty of ways to make Battle Shock.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Nice. So what's the next one?
Rights of War.
Okay.
Bearer gets +1 OC.
Nice. Okay. Pretty strong.
Not bad. I mean, that's already not bad because that can tip the scales of holding objectives. In addition, once per battle, at the start of any phase, you give +1 OC to the rest of the squad too.
Start of any phase, that's really nice as well. I really like that as an ability, comboed maybe with an ancient, who normal rule is to give +1 OC.
Because you could get OC3 on every single Terminator.
Or equally, they've battle shocked, and now you go, okay, well, I'm OC 0, but up to OC 1 because the ancient, I'll put this for OC 2, and now have the objective.
Absolutely. And if you don't have an ancient, then this is a nice way to make sure you hold the objective by getting +1 OC.
No, I like that.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful. You could deny like a storm hostile objective from your opponent by just going, actually, I hold this objective, no points for you. Yeah. It's good. It's Terminator only.
No,
that's the main thing. It is Terminator at locked.
Probably fair.
Which is great because Terminator's all OC1 anyway.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And then final one, Iron Resolve. This one seems quite good as well.
Yes, this one's probably the auto include of the 4.
Okay, interesting. So, you want to say what it does?
Yes, and by auto include, I mean we make space for this in the list, points wise, right? This is Terminator only. Bearer gets 5+ Feel No Pain.
Which is fantastic.
Great on its own. In addition to this, once per game, like the others, the whole unit gets to Feel No Pain 5+ till the end of that phase.
Okay, fantastic. So again, another fantastic buffing piece on Terminator only means that it's only going to be put on a Terminator unit.
Yep.
So again, can think of plenty of models that would be fantastic. This in your definitely Knights on your ancient.
Yeah.
Basic Terminators, Assault Terminators,
Wolfguard
Terminators. I think there's a whole plethora of choice for this, and again, because of that, is fantastic.
Yeah, this is superb. What this lets you do is things like rapid ingress and just take a punch.
Yeah.
When it comes to their shooting phase, and then you can now move and charge. So there's lots of different tactics you can do around this one.
Yeah. Nice, I love that. So that's all the enhancements. Overall, how are we feeling about those? They seem okay. The ones I like the idea of, all of them being I get a buff, but once per battle I get a really big buff to my unit.
Yeah. I think the problem with these is you need to remember, as the Space Marine player, you get that permanent buff on your one model.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time you see, we'll see the Imperium sword on a character, and people will forget that they have the innate +1 on the character, which then is +2 for the turn that you trigger the buff. The same for the OC. So you'll kind of like forget that you've got it in addition when the turn comes around. They all speak to having this one big turn.
Yes.
That's what this detachment sort of is talking about. One turn for reroll wounds, one turn for your Feel No Pain, one turn for all those attacks.
Yeah, so which is also nice that you've got some buffing and some some damage buffing and some defensive buffing abilities as well, which is really cool.
Which you can actually stack on the same unit if you wanted to go that route. You could have an ancient, a captain, and one could have each of these.
Nice one. Yeah. Nice, I love that. So that is all the enhancements, like I said. Now let's go into the stratagems.
Let's take a moment to appreciate Colourforge, our fantastic sponsor. Their range of spray paints has become our go-to for making our miniatures come to life quickly and efficiently. The quality and variety of colours they offer are truly unmatched, providing a smooth application for stunning effects every time. Check out Colourforge for your next hobby project.
All right, so Armour of Contempt is here just like it is in every other Space Marine attachment. Battle Tactic, 1 CP, you can reduce the incoming AP of attacks until the end of the phase.
Yeah, so it's the one we all know and love. It's it's cut and paste in every single army. We don't need to talk more about that other than the fact of it is fantastic.
It's great here as well because Terminators are heavily implicated and they've all got 2-up saves.
Yeah,
so great.
Great.
Probably use this in this attachment.
Nice one. So what's the next one?
Duty and Honour.
Okay, what's that do?
1 command point. Now, a lot of these, the all of these stratagems, bar one, will say which units they affect, and it's Vanguard veterans, Stern Guard veterans, Blade Guard veterans, Terminator keyword.
Okay.
Okay, so to save me repeating that, that's what these affect.
We'll just say the one that doesn't affect it,
Yes.
which is the Armour of Contempt.
Armour of Contempt, and there is one Terminator only stratagem as well.
Okay, cool. So what is duty and honour then other than that?
Duty and honour, if any in your movement phase, if you've got any of those veteran units on an objective you control, you can make that objective under your control, even if you leave it until your opponent takes it at the start or end of any turn.
Okay.
So it's a sticky objective.
Yeah, slightly different to how we normally see the sticky. Well, I say normally. It's because it's done in your movement phase.
Yes.
Which can be quite good because if you've got any abilities that allow you to maybe move in your command phase or something, which I'm unsure if Marines do, or just any sort of like preemptingness.
Yes. So this can be incredibly powerful because what you can do is you can move onto an objective, sticky it, charge off the objective.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that.
So you don't have to be in range in the command phase. You can move on to. You can even do this with Vanguard veterans.
Okay, nice.
Move 12 inches, take the objective, then charge something else.
So it's like a sort of leapfrog, as it were.
Yes.
Now, I really like that. Yeah. I think that's much better than I sort of thought in my head. So thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, and obviously you've got lots of elite units, so you don't really want to be hanging back holding objectives if you don't have to.
Which I completely agree with.
Yeah.
So what's the next stratagem, Michael?
Heroes of the chapter.
Okay, what's that do?
So this is one command point and a battle tactic.
Okay.
And you can use this on any of your veteran units in a shooting or fight phase. Now they get +1 to their hit rolls.
Okay.
In addition to this, if they're below half strength, +1 to their wound rolls.
Okay, nice. So +1 a hit or below half strength, +1 a wound. Seems really good. I guess, having +1 a hit on any unit.
When you look at the veteran units you've got Blade Guard, they hit on 3s in combat. This is now 2s. Vanguard veterans, this is now 2s. Stern Guard. This is actually very good on Thunderhammer Terminators because they've got an innate weapon skill of 4+.
Okay, so this will give them 3+.
This gets it to a 3+ now, which you kind of need to make those Thunderhammers work.
Yeah, which I agree.
And then you've got that one turn of reroll wounds for the dev wounds too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, no, I do agree. It's very good that to have. Orbital Teleportariums next.
Yes.
What's this one?
So this is Terminator only. This is the Terminator only one. So one command point, end of your opponent's fight phase. You can select a Terminator unit that's not in engagement range of the enemy. They can leave the board, and your next reinforcement step, they have to come back on from Deep Strike.
So again, really nice. Normally, Terminators are known as your very stereotypically slow-moving unit. So the ability to be able to take them off the table, bring them back, just seems really good. Fantastic. Again, for 1CP, do like that a lot.
You can overwhelm one sort of flank, and then pick them up, go over to the other side of the board.
Yeah, no, decent, very, very decent, really nice there. What's the next one then we're going to look at?
Terrifying Proficiency.
Okay, it's very scary.
This one's very interesting, and I'll explain it as best I can. Basically, you use this in the fight phase on one of those veteran units that has killed an enemy unit, and charged. So your unit has to have charged and destroyed an enemy unit.
Okay.
Then, in your opponent's following command phase, all of their units within 6 inches of your unit have to take a battle shock test.
Okay.
If those units are below half strength, there's -1 to the test as well.
Okay. So if they had to take a battle shock check normally,
there'd be -1. And this stratagem specifically says that they don't have to take any more battle shock tests that phase.
Okay, so this is their one, basically.
This is their one, but it's at -1 if they...
Okay, so to reiterate, you kill a unit in the fight phase.
Yes, but your unit has to have charged.
It has to have charged.
Yes.
And then in the next command phase, in your opponent's next command phase, they have to take a battle shock check for every unit within 6.
Yes.
However, if they would normally have to take a battle shock check being below half, then it would be -1, but you don't take any more.
That's right.
Okay.
So
quite a few steps there.
There are. What's quite nice is because it's not just when you've killed the enemy unit, it means that your opponent doesn't just become unbattle shocked as soon as their turn begins.
Yeah, which is really nice. And the other thing as well, comboing that with Fear-Made Manifest seems like quite a strong little combo.
Yes, yeah, there's a very strong combo you can do where you can really build into it. You can have Assault Terminators that cause battle shock tests when they charge. Then you can have the unit that they're attached to, the character can have the Fear-Made Manifest. Then you can also do Terrifying Proficiency after.
No, love it. Then finally, we've got Legendary Fortitude. So what's this one do?
One command point, battle tactic. As soon as your opponent ends a charge move, you can choose one of those veteran units that's within engagement range of that enemy unit. And until the end of the turn, you'll -1 to the incoming damage characteristic of those attacks.
Okay, nice.
Cool. 4 wound Terminator with Storm Shield.
Yeah. -1 damage. Deathwing Knight, who is already -1 damage, can make -2 damage with that. Yeah, super decent there. We love a -1 damage strat.
Yeah.
And the fact it's obviously charge phase.
It is
the only
charge
thing.
phase. That's the only thing. So you need to declare it ahead of time. In addition to that, it is a battle tactic, so you could repeat it on several units.
Okay, that's really nice as well. So nice. So that's all the 6 stratagems. How are we feeling about the stratagems? They seem pretty good as well.
I think I could see myself using pretty much all of them at some point in the game. The terrifying proficiency less so.
Yeah, it's very
because it's
situational.
quite situational. But I could see the other 5 coming up at least once per game, and with about 10 CP over the course of the game, maybe even some of them 2 to 3 times.
Nice one, yeah.
And now for a word from our sponsor, C Studios. They are the experts in providing professional miniature painting services, ensuring your armies always look their best on the battlefield. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or just starting out, C Studios can help bring your miniatures to life. Don't miss out on their quality craftsmanship.
So that is the detachment overall. So top units, Michael, what are we sort of looking at? I imagine it's very veteran based.
It is, yes.
But what are we sort of looking at in short anyway for the sort of top units you like?
Okay, so to stick to the codex, there are obviously plenty of non-codex compliant units that are great, like your Deathwing Knights. But within the codex, the normal Terminator squad's fantastic.
Okay.
It's great at doing shooting as well as melee. Power Fist, hitting on 3s, -2, flat 2 damage is fantastic. These guys get +1 to hit against the Oath target.
Okay,
With both their shooting and combat, which is really nice.
Which, again, comboed with if you need to use the extremist level threats, really good.
Yeah, so hit on 2s, then you're wounding and re-rolling wounds.
Yeah, okay, like that.
In addition to this, they have a Homer, which lets you rapid ingress for free.
Okay.
So you can start these off the board, and reliably, you don't have to spend CP to bring them in with a rapid ingress.
Yes, of course.
So you could pair this with the 5 of Fun of Pain or whatever, and then you could rapid ingress for free, and then you could spend the CP you've got on Armour of Contempt when your opponent tries to shoot you.
Yeah.
So regular
Very
Terminators,
tanky,
very good. Very, very good. Then we've got Blade Guard Veterans.
Yeah.
Being 3 wounds each, getting that -1 damage, super strong. +1 to hit, hitting on 2s, they give themselves reroll 1s to hit. So they don't really need character support. They're quite independent units, the Blade Guard now. Vanguard Veterans, also, getting to hit on 2s, that's the main thing there.
Yeah.
They become individual sort of missiles that can go in, they deal with a unit.
They work very much more independently than the sort of what you were relying on.
And with the movement phase sticky, Vanguard Veterans work superbly on that front as well. In terms of characters, obviously the Terminator Ancient is going to be your best friend.
Yeah, he seems really good in this sort of army.
Yeah, Stern Guard Veterans could have some sort of other support with them, like an Ancient, to give them a bit more punch. I think Heroes of the Chapter for the +1 hit for Stern Guard is actually really strong.
Yes,
Meant to talk about that, but that's like if you hit on 4s with the combi weapons, now you're hitting on 3s.
Yeah.
Then you can pick the reroll wounds, and you've got devastating wounds and anti-infantry 4+.
So there's potentially a way to get sustained in there as well, depending on what chapter you are.
Yeah.
With Oath as well. I think it's all very, very strong.
Super strong. And then the Librarian in Terminator armor gives the unit sustained hits 1.
Yeah, nice.
So if you did have the Imperium Sword on a Terminator unit, you could have sustained hits 1 and +1 attack on everybody.
That's very good, isn't it?
And they give you Feel and Pain 4+ against psychic attacks or anything that does mortal wounds that is a psychic ability.
Yeah. Nice one. Right, so I like that for top units. So next we're going to go have a look at, see what Michael's come up with for an army list.
We're grateful to have Frontline Gaming as our sponsor. They're a truly one-stop shop for all your gaming needs, from terrain and mats to an extensive range of miniatures in the United States. Plus, their community-focused events are known to foster what we call the Warhammer 40k spirit. So if you want to start playing an event and you're truly passionate about the game, then make sure you attend one of the next Frontline Gaming events.
Right, Michael, so the army list. The chapter we've decided to go for is...
Crimson Fists.
So with it being Crimson Fists,
yes,
it would be very sad if we didn't have the chapter master of the Crimson Fists himself, right? Who is
Pedro Cantor,
the man. Vote for Pedro. So what does Pedro Cantor give us?
So Pedro Cantor is really the only way we can be like Crimson Fists. Otherwise, you could just be any chapter. But Pedro Cantor is fantastic because he can lead Stern Guard veterans
Yep.
and Blade Guard veterans, which we're going to have in the list. He hits really hard. So he's got 5 attacks at strength 8, -3, flat 3 damage.
That is very good. Very, very
That's
strong.
pretty good. And he's going to get tuned up a notch with this list. He's also got a 2-up save.
That's really decent as well.
Pretty strong on a captain. And he's got a nice little damage to Fancy Bolter called Dawn's Arrow.
Okay, nice. That's what we like.
Abilities, though. So he does have Feel No Pain 6-up, which is nice.
Yeah, that's nice because, again, if you had a few wounds go through, all it takes is 1-6 and that could scupper your plans, right?
Once per battle, at the start of either player's command phase, I can use this ability, Oath of Rin, until the end of the turn. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of weapons equipped by models in this model's unit.
That's pretty good.
That's their shooting attacks and their melee attacks.
Wow, okay. I did not realise it was their shooting attacks as well.
So that can make him really strong in Stern Guard.
Yes.
You can get them with their bolt rifles into up to 4 shots each.
Shots, yeah,
Or
wow.
3 with their combi weapons.
The combi weapon with 3
4 with a heavy bolter.
Or 4 oh. Well, we've got a lot of awesome stuff there already.
So this is great. And if you did pair this with a Blade Guard Ancient, which is also in the list, with Imperium Sword, then actually once per game, you could do +3 attacks on the unit.
And then Pedro will give their pistols extra shots.
That's right.
And then the unit itself just has a bucket load of attacks in combat.
With 8 attacks per veteran, per Blade Guard veteran. And Cantor himself will go up to 8 attacks
Nice.
as well.
I like that.
In addition to this, while he's leading a unit, they get +1 to the hit rolls if they're below starting strength,
Okay, nice, yeah.
which is great, which is why we're going to take max strength units with him. Saves us using the stratagem for +1 to hit.
Yeah.
And if we're below half strength, we get +1 to wound rolls too.
Okay, nice. That's pretty good, actually. Especially where we've got 7 models in the unit, so taking us to 3, which would mean it's 1 Blade Guard, the Ancient, and Pedro potentially.
Yes.
But still very good nonetheless, right?
Yeah, incredibly strong. Yeah.
So you said we've got Pedro, we've then got the Blade Guard Ancient.
Yes.
which you
Yeah.
alluded to,
You
and
could have a lieutenant instead of this. That is a very viable option.
and he's got Imperium Sword.
Imperium Sword. Yes. So the Ancient's going to give them +1 OC.
Yeah.
Which is nice to help with that sticky objective situation. And then we get that +1 attack once per game, both from the Ancient himself, then also from the Imperium Sword, and then also from, if they're in the same unit, Cantor.
Yeah, I like it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I like it.
What I like there is you can actually chain it, so you don't have to do it all in one go, but you could, over the course of the game, go, okay, actually I need +2 attacks this turn to just clear this, and I need +1 attack later on to just clear this.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're in there. Then we have a normal captain.
Okay, so could buff himself up anyway.
Yep. So regular captain can beef themselves up, got a shield and a sword.
Okay.
And this means that I can play around with where Pedro Cantor goes or where the captain goes and really maximise what I'm doing against specific enemy targets. Then we've got a captain in Terminator armour with Iron Resolve.
Yeah, I like that.
Loads of wounds, great to have the Feel No Pain on, and then obviously leading a unit that can have the Feel No Pain once per game and a free armour of contempt because it's a battle tactic.
Yeah, so again, makes that unit super, super durable.
Yeah. Then we have an Ancient in Terminator armour.
Okay.
So the OC isn't fantastic on Terminator units, so it's nice to be able to stick that in there, make sure we're holding objectives.
Yeah, nice. So that's quite a plethora of heroes.
And there's one more.
Oh, wow, okay.
A librarian in
There's
Terminator
more.
armour.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So we've got the Libby in Terminator armour with Rights of War. So +1 OC on the Libby, and then +1 OC once per game on the rest of the unit as well.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so again, you've really focused on, like you alluded to, the OC on Terminators isn't great, so you've now got 2 pieces that can up your OC. Really like that. So what else is in the army then with that in mind? So obviously, I'm assuming
Just characters.
it's just characters.
I mean, it's
right?
500 points on characters.
Which, as it should.
As it should be. It's the first company.
Exactly. Right, what have we got now for the actual list then? So, like what I call the actual list.
6 Blade Guard.
Okay, not a surprise to hear that because I'm assuming that's Pedro's unit with the Blade Guard.
Or the Captain and the Ancient.
Oh,
Because then
okay.
I can use the Captains once per game, get dev wounds, loads of attacks.
Okay, interesting.
Depends on what's going on, because I could put the Captain in with the 10 Stern Guard, which I also have in the list.
Okay, so equally, Pedro could go with those. So I like that. You've got 2 units where you've got an option of, okay, character or Pedro character. Love that. I think that's really good.
Yeah. Then we have a Land Raider Redeemer,
Oh, yes.
because we need to get across the battlefield.
And what better way to get across the battlefield than in a Land Raider?
Style. style. This also affords us a decent overwatch to stop move blocks from trying to stop us going places, and is incredibly tough. So nice to have a Redeemer in there. Carries 14, which could be 5 Terminators with a character, or it could be either the Blade Guard or the Stern Guard. Yeah. We've got ways of jumping back in and out and over the course of the game.
Yeah, lots of options.
5 Scouts.
Yeah, like you should.
Someone needs to know what the enemy's doing before we come in with the fist.
Yeah.
Then we've got the 10 Terminators Assault Squad.
Okay.
10-man Terminator.
So another big brick that can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage. And we're looking at mainly Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields, but we will have some Lightning Claws in there just to deal with some other threats.
And this is where I'm seeing potentially the Terminator Captain and the Ancients.
That's right.
Yeah.
What the Ancient gives us is his other ability from the +1 OC.
Okay.
Is if the unit's below starting strength, they get +1 to hit.
Okay.
If they're below half, then they get +1 to wound.
And this is something that Terminators, because the Assault Terminators don't get that special rule of if they're shooting the 8th target, they get +1 to hit.
No.
Their rule is that when they charge, they take battle shock.
Exactly.
So I like that. So having the +1 to hit for the Thunder Hammers, if you get below half, which again, that's a big unit. That'll be, you need 5. That's still a lot of hitting power.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, so having the Captain, the Ancient who has a Power Fist, and then 3 Assault Terminators is a huge amount of damage you can still kick out.
Yeah.
+1 to wound.
No, I love it.
Then we've got 5 regular Terminators. These will pair with the Libby.
So they can make like a little sort of...
little unit that's quite annoying to deal with, goes around, teleport up and down, scores points, and sustained for shooting and combat. So it's quite a nice, cheeky unit.
Super good.
And then we've got 2 units of 5 Vanguard veterans.
Nice. So like you said, so they can do the whole move onto an objective, duty and honour it, charge off, hopefully try and do some damage with some +1s and some lethals.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. I really like that. So that's a proper veteran-themed army. Other than the Scouts and the Land Raid, that's all veterans.
Yes.
We've got a boatload of characters. It's all Crimson Fist, a chapter you don't get to see a lot. But yeah, I love it. So, Michael, overall, what do you think of the first Company Task Force?
I think, on paper, it might not seem as strong as some of the other detachments.
Yeah.
I won't lie. It's probably not as strong as some of the detachments. It's going to leave a bit of a bad taste in experienced Space Marine players' mouths because they will have been used to reroll wounds on their oaths all the time.
Yeah.
Now they get it once per game. So it's going to be an initial feels bad. If you've not come to the detachment before, if you've not played Space Marines before, the reroll wounds is massively powerful.
Yes, very much so.
So this is an army where you stand there, one turn, your opponent tries to deal with you, bounces off your Feel No Pain, or doesn't take the objectives off you because you're OC. You turn it around and you do an immense amount of damage with this oath and win the game that way. But yeah, inherently not as powerful as some of the other ones. Probably one of the most thematic detachments, I think. And you could take this further.
Yeah.
You could make this list even more powerful, sticking things like Gilliman. And if you are interested in that, then we do have the Masterclass out at the moment for the Space Marines. So if you're looking to learn everything about all of the detachments, think about all those 200 data sheets and how they fit into the army, then check out the Masterclass. We're going to go through a list for each detachment, how it deploys on the table in the mission play, and some advanced tactics. We're also going to look at every single chapter.
Nice.
What maybe the top 3 detachments for them are, based on what your collection might be. If you played that army, then we'll also look at a competitive list for each of those chapters as well.
Nice, I love it. So again, if you want to check that out, or equally the other alternatives are booking in for a one-to-one coaching call with anybody here. Yeah. To maybe also, if you want a bit more sort of included help, a bit more
absolutely.
Sort of face-to-face or
if you've got Cantor and your non-negotiable is you want an army with Cantor in it that you think is competitive at the table, then we'll make that happen. Yeah. We're not going to just give you a shopping list and say, buy these 3 things.
And you'll win.
Yeah. We want you to do as well as you can with the stuff you've got.
No, there's no art in that.
No.
So, right. So anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you guys like, comment and subscribe. Comment in below if you do like the first Company Task Force, if you have tried it out, what you think of it, what chapter you've gone for with it. And we'll see you in another video very soon.